purpose. Now, whether that purpose applies to Newtown and the rest of the city, well, then again, we have to make sure there's a fair distribution. But, you know, it's very hard to steer government granting situation and government dollars specifically to one particular area.
I agree designated monies need to go where they're designated to be used.
Yeah, now, and if I understand your question correctly, Valerie, if you're suggesting that there's an instance, in this area, I'm sorry, that there's money allocated to Newtown and then it's taken somewhere else, and then that's my responsibility, and actually every commissioner's responsibility to fight to make sure that it goes where it needs to go. But now,
I'm specifically talking about when the demographics of Newtown is used also in that to get the dollars, and yet dollars don't come here. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not that out of it that I know if grant money is for a specific reason that it don't go to that. I'm not talking about that at all.
So what you're suggesting, Newtown being used to get money they're not benefiting from. Well, then that's my job to speak up and fight. That's all.
Just to clarify what Valerie said, I think what she's referring to is community development block grant money, which is specifically designated from the federal government for blighted communities. And what I do want to say is Newtown wasn't getting its due. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't John come on. I'm Vice Chair of the Housing Authority. And we have been advocates, and as you see some of the developments around Sarasota coming up, I think you'll notice that there have been many changes, specifically over the last 4 years. I will say that, you know, I've worked with everybody here, Ms. Langston for years. The mayor has done a very good job in the last 4 years.
I think he may be out of order because everybody wants to hear from the candidate.
Okay, I was just going to tell you about the block grant money. As I said, Newtown wasn't getting its due for many years, but that seems to have changed, and I'm sure every candidate up here wants to be an advocate to get more of it.
Valerie, did that clarify your question?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Well, he has adequately answered what dollars are out there in the city and the county did get those dollars, and the demographics that was used, because this was the blighted community, was Newtown. They have used them to redevelop everywhere else. And now we do have a CRA in Newtown. And as when I was reading Ms. Chapman's replies to some of the questions, one good point she made, and we all feel this, we have a redevelopment office out here, and they have hired a redevelopment specialist. And that is that person's job, to work with this community to help to make sure that the dollars that's in here is being used economically correctly, but it's also that person's job to go out and seek and bring in other dollars and redevelopment. So the problem we have here is that it's not working. So our commissioners that's sitting there right now need to take a very hard look at exactly why with the enterprise zone here, the CRA dollars are here, there's other dollars that have been in here that they are not now being used and leveraged in the way that they should be.
Thank you. Are there other questions? I think we have time for a couple more, yes.
I've heard people talk about the older days of this community when there were entrepreneurs in the area, homegrown from the area. I look around today and I see potential opportunities. For example, in Janie O, there are, in the garden, there are new spaces available for shops and things. But I also understand the kind of problems that local potential entrepreneurs face in trying to get into that kind of space. Part of it is they need facilitators to help them work through the process to get into that kind of space. Part of it is facilitators to help them orient to getting the funding to do that. the city can make investments in trying to help Newtown develop its employment position. Some of it would be to help these potential entrepreneurs. As a commissioner, what do you plan to do to help? What kind of service can you provide to the community to help develop those and prepare those entrepreneurs and help them expedite through the processes necessary to get their businesses going? I address that to everybody.
That's an interesting question. I think that falls into something that is not core government function. That's something you do when you've got your deficit taken care of and you've still got money left. So in the next 2 years, I'd say that the city commission is probably not going to do very much about it, although it's a wonderful thing, and it should be done with $430 million behind. Oh, by the way, I keep using this figure, and if you may notice that the other candidates are using a smaller figure, it depends on the percentage used to calculate the deficit for in retirement funding. 459 million uses a 5% return on investment. The smaller figures uses 7%. I don't know if anybody is getting either 5 or 7 anymore. I think they might get like 3. So both figures are conservative, but both of them mean we don't have surplus money for projects, no matter how good they are, and that's a good project. I agree with you, but we don't have the money.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I hear you, because I've met with, actually I've met with Marlon Brown a few times about, because every few months I want to get an update of what's going on with the MLK retail space, and I look every time I go by, what's going on, the build-out problem. I agree partly with what you're saying here, how we get these people to, they're not venture capitalists. They want build-out. They want, what are the local peripheral people that they can go to in our community to get loans for build-out? I mean, I'm willing to look into that. I think that's a harder issue than we all seem to think it is, because we have stopped there. There's a lot that's not happening right there. So I'm willing to look at what are some of the peripheral opportunities, and actually, I would probably talk more with, as Barbara said, Lorna Alston. What are some of the opportunities that she's come up with people that can invest in this? We need to know more of that. I need to know more of that. Thanks. Sorry.
I'm sort of one of these crazy realists. I think in terms of the educational aspect of what you mentioned, maybe this should go through the EDC. Maybe if people don't know their way around the system to put a grant together or put a loan together, you can do that through the EDC. But at the end of the day, you will not open up stores. You will not open up opportunities where people can spend money unless there's money to spend. So again, give people jobs. Give them paychecks, give them opportunities to spend those paychecks in the community, and you will be amazed how quickly you will fill retail space and other business space. If there's no money, you can help people all you want. You can give them grants, show them how to get in and get into a real retail space. If they go broke after 6 months, it doesn't do anybody any good. Give people jobs.
This to me seems to be the responsibility of the redevelopment office, and it would seem like there are programs and there are opportunities through that office, and maybe we need to take a look to see if that office and that staff need to do a better job of that. Perhaps there's some review of that operation that might be necessary.
And I agree that is the job of the Newtown Redevelopment Office, if I understand your question correctly. Now, obviously, being a commissioner would allow me to better assess how effective we're doing that, then make recommendations. And I believe the city certainly can play a role to help try to encourage, and I'm assume you're meeting minority business owners to do better, but they're going to have to make money as well. And I think, and I said earlier, one of my big things is helping to stop the crime to make North Sarasota even more attractive to business. But it seems to me that the city's answer to that is the redevelopment office. And of course, being a commission will help you better evaluate how effective we're doing in that. Thank you.
In Newtown, we have been, since we started redevelopment, part of that to start getting people ready to go into businesses as the economic development is done. We have entrepreneur classes here. I think 200 or 300 people have been graduated from that entrepreneur class. That is what educates you on how to run a business and all the other aspects of it. The problem there is that along with when this was declared an economic development area, that there are supposed to be some banks in place so that as these people graduate from these economic development classes, and that storefront right down there in front of Jamie's Garden now should be full from the time those classes started because the banks were supposed to be in place. We have a CRA in here. We sit there and we listen at the city commission how the same type of businesses is down at the garage downtown.
We don't have any more time for any other questions. What I want is for each person to have 30 seconds to give us their final comments that we will remember when we leave here, starting with Pete. 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds, I want you all to pick up one of my cards. And my card has my web address on it. And on that website, there are over 100 articles. You can look at those articles and practically answer any question of anything I've ever said in not just this campaign, but the 2009 campaign and the 2011 campaign. They're all listed in the archives toward the bottom. So I would definitely appreciate your vote. And another thing, next Monday, Pizza with Pete at Ringling Pizza. Come on and have pizza with me. I'm picking up the tab. Soda too.
Oh yeah, time left over. Can I use his time? I know this is a short. I have a passion for this city. I'm ready for another 4 years. I have a lot of renewable energy. We talk about renewable energy. I have a lot. I need 4 more years to accomplish more things. I've accomplished, I believe, a great many things in this city. I've been mayor for 2 years. That has afforded me the opportunity to meet hundreds and hundreds of people that has helped me craft policy. That's what it's all about, relationships with stakeholders, everybody, all neighborhoods. And now that I'm here, and I love being in Robert Taylor, and this could be the core and the beginning of a lot of good things, because a lot of wonderful stakeholders meet here. So I look forward to your vote on March 12th. Thank you very much. Yeah. Speed it up.
You've heard what I've had to say. You've gathered that I believe it's going to take a private sector solution or a public-private solution to get us to move forward, particularly here in Newtown and North Sarasota. If you believe that is the solution that will get us to move forward, then you have to believe somebody who has spent his entire career building businesses, creating businesses, bringing development in, is probably the guy who's best equipped to do this. If, on the other hand, you feel that the government is better equipped to do this, I'm probably not your man. I thank you for your time, and I hope you come out and vote for me on March 12th.
Thank you all for being here this evening. I would appreciate your consideration of the value of my 30-plus years in this business, in this community, both in the neighborhoods and the business community, being involved as a civic participant. I am a person of action, not just words, so I've proven over those 30 years that I'll do what I say I'm going to do, and I appreciate your vote on March 12th. Thank you.
Thank you all once again for having us here tonight. I'll do my best to work hard to serve. And I've got to serve the voters choose me. I've got to serve who voted for me, those who don't. And that's what we're running for. We've got to be a servant to all, not just one group. And so I ask for your consideration as well to March 12th, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
My commitment to this community can be measured by my successful efforts in this community. Sarasota is my hometown now. It is the city of high standards. I am committed to maintaining those high standards. That is why I'm running for city commission and asking for you to vote for your vote on March 12th.
Thank you.